Hey, Rick. Yeah, so fasting for 11 days, you're working on a totally different set of things, right? So, the other thing that most people get wrong about fasting is that you don't hit autophagy, or the stage where you're clearing out dead cells or senescent cells or the cells basically that are causing harm. You don't start clearing those out until hour 17. Hour 17. Most people, unless they are doing an OMAD, are not fasting for 17 hours a day. They're fasting for about 16. So there's that. What you were doing allowed for the body to go into not only autophagy, but a complete cellular detox with the 11 days. And I would recommend that people do that with supervision if they've had some health issues, because you can end up in a crisis if you're not careful. However, doing a water fast with electrolytes for, I've seen people 5, 7, 9, 11, 30 days, can be beneficial if you are metabolically stable enough to handle it. The intermittent fasting is what these studies were based on, and there are studies actually that look at the difference between postprandial blood sugars when you skip breakfast versus for lunch and dinner versus when you skip lunch for breakfast and dinner versus when you skip dinner for breakfast and lunch. And what it shows, particularly for women, is that they should never skip breakfast. Women should never skip breakfast. Amen, period. Um, because when they do, it actually creates higher postprandial lunches, postprandial dinners. It causes a cortisol spike that causes insulin resistance, that causes them to store more fat, and it also causes a breakdown of bone tissue. When they looked at type 2 diabetics, their best postprandials were when they had a really good breakfast and a really good supper, and then a protein snack about an hour and a half before bed. So there is research out there on the intermittent fasting and how you can get the best postprandial numbers. And for women, it's an absolute hard no to skip breakfast. Absolute hard no. And in general, for people, it's don't skip breakfast, period. Um, if you want to skip supper, if you want to go like, okay, I'm going to eat breakfast, I'm going to go 7 hours to my next meal, and I'm going to eat dinner, supper, whatever you want to call it, also does pretty well. But remember that if you're asking your body to build muscle, you have to be getting in enough protein, amino acids. So you may need to supplement, or you may need to eat more protein at each meal, which particularly in this current GLP-1 phase of the world that we're in, getting in more protein at each meal can be harder. And so it may be that you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're going 12 hours from dinner to breakfast or 14 hours from dinner to breakfast in order to get into an intermittent fasting window. No one should be fasting for less than 12 hours in order to restore appropriate leptin and ghrelin responses. So if you're on a GLP-1 and you are worried at all about the rest of the hormones that go into that hunger, satiety, etc., you want to be fasted for 12 hours because those hormones function on a 12-hour cycle. But the research clearly shows skipping breakfast is the most detrimental to all people, and particularly diabetics and women.